Hey guys,
Hi,
I'm Dexter,
and I'm Whitney.
and this is
Tied together.
So I think it's probably a couple weeks ago, we had a conversation about last names, and I think because of our unique circumstances, I think we both have unique perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna give. Um, so, for those of you that don't know, uh, I grew up in Florida. I didn't meet our bio dad until I was 9, and then I had my name changed when I was 12.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're.
I'm adopted,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was the name. I don't even know what name was on the original birth certificate, I guess, but my name's always been my adopted parents' name. And then, I got married, and I have a married name.
I want to make it. I was like, your name was Jillian or something like. Say your first name was.
No, my first name's always been Whitney. I don't.
I know.
My first name's always been Whitney. I do know that.
I just wanted to pick at you. That's all.
Yeah, my name's always been Whitney, but I don't know what last name.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine it was probably her last name. My birth mother's last name was on my birth certificate originally, probably.
So I kind of wanted to have a conversation about those perspectives. We do land differently because of those different backgrounds, I think.
I think so. I think you're right.
So I would like to hear your thoughts on.
What do you want to know?
I would like to know, especially since coming into reunion with everybody, because you've had some context for your birth mom's last name for a long time.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
Like you knew who she was for a long time, and
That's true.
you knew her last name, but has since coming into reunion with us and kind of getting to know everybody, has that given you new perspective on anything, or has it what was I guess what I'm asking was what was your original what were your original thoughts on last names, and then have they changed any since?
I think originally I may not have given last names a lot of thought. I just had the last name that I had, and it was the same as all the rest of my family, and felt a sense of connection there with my adopted family, and I don't think I really ever thought too much of it. And then I got married, and I actually didn't change my last name legally when I ap married for many years. I changed it when my daughters were school age, and I wanted us to all have the same last name when they were at school, so people would understand that like I was their mom, and that we were all like a cohesive group.
Yeah.
You know, me and their dad, and that we all have the same last name.
Yeah.
Since coming into reunion, I think a lot of my thoughts have been a lot more complicated. I have a lot of anger, and I have a lot of I don't know. I think I have a lot of feelings about last names that are confusing even to me. I think people, I think family doesn't really like to hear that you don't feel like you belong.
I think that's very true.
So like for me to say something like, well, I have a lot of ambivalence about my last name. I don't really feel like I belong anywhere. Even some of the posts we've done where I felt like I didn't belong, I had family like on all sides saying like, it's okay, like you belong here. Even my married family was like, well, I really hope that you found a place with us. And so it's just not, it's hard to talk about, I think, because people really don't like to hear that you do. Like, it's like, yeah, but I'm a step removed.
Yeah.
And whenever I've tried to talk about something like that, people want to say, no, like we don't feel that way. Like, like you're with us. Like there's nothing that separates us.
They take it personal as like a personal feeling of theirs.
I don't know. I don't think everybody does, but I think it really just hurts them to hear that I feel that way.
Yeah.
Because they love me, and they don't want me to feel that way.
Yeah.
So I think I have a lot of feelings with it that are latent, things that I don't say. that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody endeavors to make me feel like I belong.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I really don't feel like I quite belong anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the truth.
Yeah. Um,
And I think it lands differently for you because I think your journey or your perspective with your last name is complicated, but it's different
mm-hmm.
than this.
Yeah. I I think I understand what it is to be a step removed. I think we just I think we have different perspectives. I know, like, the name I was born with, I had no context for who, because, my last name at that point wasn't connected to my mother, wasn't connected to my brother, wasn't connected to my stepdad. I didn't even know where I got the last name.
Mm-hmm.
Barely have context on that guy. Or, you know,
I need this potato.
yeah. Um, uh, and but, um, and, I know what it's like to feel like you're the only one that thinks the way you think in your own family.
Right.
Um, uh, and like I said, I met our birth dad when I was 9, and then we got my name changed when I was 12. Um,
Just is formative. That's like your coming of age, and you're like a different person, or you have a deeper understanding of who you are as a person because of something like that. I think.
yeah, it did give me a place to, because I never found any connection to the name that other name. Like, it didn't make sense to me, and I had no context on the person or
Right.
anything. Like, I had no anything to reach back to say, like, that makes, so when people would ask me who my parents were when I had that name, I would tell them who my mom was, and then be like, well,
Who's your dad?
and I could, especially when they asked me, like, where I got the name, I was like, um, but getting my name changed, um, um, it was, it, it gave me a place to connect, and it was really weird because I remember coming, especially when I got to high school, it was really weird, because I don't remember, but I think I got it changed from, I want to say, from freshman year. No. Or from like 8th grade to like freshman year. And so I came into Baker right as that was like all finalizing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first year, like, nobody really knew. But then, like, a lot of my teachers and stuff were guys that went to school with our birth dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I had family that was there.
Right.
And and like nobody, when they finally did put it together, the teachers and stuff, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know who he is," and blah blah blah. And like, I remember a biology teacher of mine being like, "Yeah, I remember him. He was always this way," and telling me all this stuff, or walking around and having people be like, and this was not just a school thing, this was an everywhere thing. Be like, "Yeah, I know your dad. You are so much alike," and I'd be like, "Well, how? Like, can you tell me how?" And they'd be like, "I don't,"
You just are.
or just in passing, be like, "Oh, you're so much like him," and I'd be like, "Okay, can you give me a little, like, context?" I didn't really have it. Um, it was weird. I feel like they had more context on him, and by extension, they had more context on me than I had.
Right.
Because they could draw comparisons that I couldn't.
Right. I could see things that you couldn't.
Yeah.
Even about yourself.
Mm-hmm. And it's weird when people have more context on you than you do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a tough shadow to live in.
Right.
Because this is not a shadow you can see clearly.
Right. has its own struggles.
And you know, when I moved away, um, so that gave me a place to connect and to belong to a name. But when I moved away, like there was also a need to get away from that.
Right, to grow into your own.
Yeah, because I was kind of chasing a shadow and living up to a name that I didn't really completely understand.
So now you live out of state. You live in New Mexico now.
And that name also gives me it gives me a place to connect to my roots, but it also gives me a place to reach for something more. I live and act in a way to honor this name because I want to. There's a line in Hamilton where Philip Schuyler,
Philip Hamilton.
Philip Hamilton, you're right. Philip Hamilton is talking. There's a guy that calls out Alexander, and he's like, "I'm a Hamilton with pride. I can't let this stand." Philip had he grabbed a hold of his dad's name and he was proud of it, and that's the kind of legacy I want to create. So that gives me something to reach for in the future. I live and I act in a way that I want, like when I have kids, for them to be able to look back and say, I'm my father's son with pride, and I can and they can carry it forward, and not have to live up to me, but they can they can reach back and find strength and then make their own way with it too. And that gives me a place that I didn't necessarily have before.
I think so.
So
That's about it.
that's my thoughts. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.